Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. More than 100 world leaders have promised to end and reverse deforestation by 2030 in the COP26 climate summit's first major deal.
No combate à mudança do clima, sempre fomos parte da solução.
Brazil, where stretches of the Amazon rainforest have been cut down, was among the signatories. The pledge includes almost £14 billion of public and private finance.
Today, I'm pleased to announce
Amazon founder Jeff Bezos also pledged $2 billion through his Bezos Earth Fund for land restoration in Africa. While the Russian president isn't present at the conference, Vladimir Putin did appear in a pre-recorded video saying Russia supported the joint declaration on forests and land use at the talks. The US has also announced measures to prevent millions of tons of the greenhouse gas methane from entering the atmosphere.
My fellow leaders, I'm honored to represent the United States.
The measures will target methane leaking from oil and gas rigs across the US. It is one of the most potent greenhouse gases and responsible for a third of current warming from human activities. Over 80 countries have joined the initiative to cut emissions of the gas by at least 30% by 2030, compared with 2020 levels. However, China, Russia and India are not among the countries. And a familiar face among the politicians and world leaders, although better known due to Hollywood than the environment. Leonardo DiCaprio was mobbed as he walked through the corridors of the COP26 conference. There was no indication he would be in Glasgow for the summit. However, he does describe himself on social media as an actor and environmentalist. At least 15 people have been killed and 34 wounded when 2 explosions followed by gunfire hit Afghanistan's biggest military hospital in Kabul. The explosions took place at the entrance of the 400-bed Sardar Mohammed Daud Khan Hospital in central Kabul, and security forces had been sent to the area. Italian aid group Emergency, which runs a trauma hospital some 3 kilometres from the site of the blast, said 9 of the wounded had been brought in so far. The global COVID-19 death toll has reached the 5 million milestone. That's according to data released by Johns Hopkins University. Global COVID-19 deaths hit 1 million back in September 2020. Since then, 4 variants of the virus, Alpha, Beta, Gamma and Delta, have helped spread the disease around the world. Final voting is taking place to elect Virginia's next governor in a knife-edge vote that is being seen as a verdict on Biden's presidency so far.
It is breathtaking, his lack of knowledge about Virginia.
Democrat Terry McAuliffe is betting the state's leftward trend in recent years will carry him to a second term in the governor's mansion.
We get to tomorrow decide the future of our Commonwealth.
But he's facing a spirited challenge from businessman Glenn Youngkin, a political novice who has energized Republican voters in recent weeks. Polls suggest the 2 men are deadlocked and the race is too close to call. Meanwhile, counting is underway in South Africa after citizens cast their votes in the local government elections. The vote is being seen as a test to the popularity of the ruling ANC party. The party had around 46% of votes cast on Tuesday morning, with about 22% of votes counted nationally. That's according to the state broadcaster. The party got around 54% of the vote in the last municipal polls in 2016. Siamese twin girls from Cameroon are both doing well after being separated in a hospital in Turkey.
No more trips. Like, seriously.
Elizabeth and Mary were born in July last year, conjoined at the waist. Their family had to campaign for funds to undertake the complex procedure to separate them.
After, I just leave everything in the hands of God.
But at a press conference earlier, their mother spoke of her joy when she realised how well the operation had gone and said she thanks God for the successful separation. And finally, the living and dead have reunited throughout Mexico during the Day of the Dead celebrations. In the annual event, families decorate the graves of their deceased relatives with flowers, candles, food and drink. The Day of the Dead tradition blends Catholic rituals with the pre-Hispanic belief that the dead return once a year from the underworld. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.